Hi there, and welcome to Walk the Bandana Man. Today's walk takes place on the Alcudia peninsula, and this one is by far my favourite route up the Talaia de Alcudia. It starts at a car park near the coast at Sa Ferradura. We walk through Campament de la Victoria up to the Col Benet. From the Col Benet we gain a southwest spur that goes all the way to the top of the Talaia de Alcudia. From there we'll descend to the Ermita de la Victoria and then pick up an earth path which goes down, crosses a dried up stream bed and then eventually leads back to the car park. This is about 3 hours and I think you're really going to enjoy this one. So let's get out there. Well, this is the car park that I usually use when I'm going to climb the Talaia de Alcudia from this side. We're actually going to go out of the car park to the left, follow a track that will lead us to the encampment de la Victoria, go through that and pick up the track the other side. But there are a few restrictions to park here in the spring and the summer. I think we ought to go over and have a look.
The parking restrictions apply to this car park at Sa Ferradura. It states, during the months of April, May, August and September, Monday to Friday, between the hours of 9 AM and 1 PM, there is no parking allowed, and during the months of June and July, no parking between those hours, Monday to Sunday.
Yep, just exit the car park on the left and go up this track. After about a minute's walking, we'll arrive here. This is the entrance to the Campament de la Victoria, and we will go up their road up there.
Funded by the Balearic government and run by the Balearic Institute for Youth, known as IBEJOVE, the Campament de la Victoria, or Victory Camp, is set in one of the most valuable unspoilt areas of Mallorca and is declared a natural area of special interest. Between the months of June and July, it is used for school outings and summer camps. It can cater for up to 200 youngsters and can run in conjunction with the hostel Albergue, about half a kilometre further down the coast.
So we just bear left here and follow the signpost Ermita la Victoria for a while. After about 10 minutes, we'll arrive at this track junction here. We want to go up that way, and if you want to go to the Ermita, you go up that track there. In fact, that's the track that we'll come back to this point on towards the end of the walk. This gravel track is starting to descend, and if we look over to our right, we'll see the community of Benet. The track will actually bend left and go down to a stream, which we'll cross. After about 18 minutes, we will indeed reach the stream crossing. We need to go up the hill there. After 20 minutes, we'll arrive at this sign here, and we will carry on the track probably for about another 50 to 100 meters, and then it'll fizzle out. Indeed, the gravel track has fizzled out, and we go straight onto this footpath which will cross the stream here, and we will probably follow this stream all the way up to the Col de Benet for about 20-25 minutes.
After about 40 minutes of walking, the path leads to this circle of trees, which is indeed the Col na Benet, about 160 metres above sea level. From this col, the signposts point in 3 different directions. The top one points back to where we've just come from, the middle one to the small hills opposite that will lead eventually to Alcudia, and the bottom one to the Col Beach, and an alternative route up to the Talaia. Our route leaves the col opposite the signposts. It is not a regular way up the Talaia, therefore it won't be signed, as it may contain areas of steepness and pathfinding could be difficult, but I can assure you it is quite manageable to those with hill walking experience.
So as soon as you leave the col, you'll need to just go up these rocks here and we'll get onto the top where we can sight stuff. I think it's quite important for this first 10-15 minutes that you keep an eye on the path, the well-trodden path, and probably the red dots, because that will take you through this undergrowth up to a place where you probably don't need to follow anything. Then you can see your objective and up you go. Well, that's our objective, the Talaia de Alcudia, 444 metres, and we're going to approach it down this big spur here that we've just about got onto. As I said, this is a great route for not seeing anybody really. On the way up, on the way down is when you'll see lots of people. On the normal route up to the Talaia de Alcudia from the Ermita, which is the way that we're going down, you'll see probably plenty of people there. Probably an hour into the walk, we come across the steepest section of this spur going right up to the top there. It does get reasonably steep, and it'll take us about 30-35 minutes to get there. But great views on each side, really. Halfway up this spur, we can look over to the Bay of Peninsula, and I don't know if you can see right in the background there, the cloud line is below the Massanea and the Tomir. Lovely. And then there's Barcarès and Port d'Alcudia, the beach, the 5 kilometres of golden sand over there. In the distance, you may be able to just pick up that little sea inlet there where we parked the car. So the spur that we're on starts to lose a bit of its width here as it narrows towards the summit blocks. So when I say that the spur starts to narrow now, well, you just put it into perspective. It's probably going to be 15 metres wide rather than 30. You know, I mean, it's not going to be too desperate. Not yet, anyway. So we'll have another look at it a bit higher up. Okay. Okay. So here we've just reached the summit blocks, and it looks a bit of a wall, but it's a little bit of a scramble, but not much of a scramble. Its bark is certainly worse than its bite. So, okay, if you're not great with heights, I can understand where it gets a little bit intimidating. But you know, if you're not scared of heights, it's quite a reasonable scramble. Okay, see you at the top. So here we are, we've arrived at the summit of the Talaia de Alcudia about an hour and 40 minutes after we started. Here you can see some of the old garrison huts here, and there's the summit blocks, and we have the trig point at the top there where I presume that the Talaia was originally.
The Watchtower was built in the 16th century to allow surveillance of areas of the coastline that was not visible from the tower of the Peninsula. It was a circular structure of about 6 meters in diameter and could communicate with Alcudia at night with fires and during the day with smoke and flags. Just down from the summit there are 2 stone huts which housed nationalist soldiers during the Spanish Civil War.
We need to descend down from the summit now, and we'll come across a track with a big cairn and a signpost sticking out in the middle of it. So, after a few minutes of descending from the summit, come across this signpost here, big cairn, and 3 directions. Direction this way will take us to Colb H. This one takes us back up to the top, and this one pointing down here will take us back to the Ermita, and that's the way that we're going to go. Okay, here we enter into a little wooded section, and in damp periods it can get a bit slippy going down, especially. So I have a tendency to always bear left, and therefore take the path which is most extreme on the left hand side. It seems to be the best one. Okay, after about half an hour from the top of the Talaia de Alcudia, we get to this point here. Now you have a choice. If you want to add another couple of hours onto your walk, then you go up the right hand side and go on to the Peninsula. Quite an interesting walk, but I do have that as a separate video if you're interested. We're going down to the Ermita, which should be about 15 minutes. The Tres Creus, or the 3 crosses, was built on a sacred site where, as it is said, a shepherd found a statue of the Virgin Mary, which originally was stolen by pirates in around about 1684. So, coming down the last few minutes before the Ermita. Just over there we can see the Ermita. As I say, another couple of minutes and we'll be there. After about 45 minutes after leaving Talaia de Alcudia, we arrive at the car park of the Ermita. So we don't actually enter the car park. Just before, you need to look left and you'll see a set of steps which leads to a little track that descends quite steeply at first, but then eases off all the way down to a dried up stream bed. That's about 15 minutes. In total from here back to the car is about 40 minutes. Now this path will descend all the way down to the river, probably another 10 minutes. After about 15 minutes from the Ermita, we finally reached the stream, and now we climb out the other side, and it's about half an hour back to the car. Yeah, coming out of the stream, we encounter, it's a tough little pull-up actually, not for long, but at the end of the day it feels quite tough. As we come out of the secondary entrance, the path widens and we need to take a left here and walk along this gravel track.
This clearing is less than 10 minutes from the car park. Just remember to hang a right at the end. The Talaia is a popular walk, and this route has a lot to offer, as in height climbed, changing terrain and great views on either side of the spur. If you enjoyed this walk, then I'll hope to see you again on the next one.